Today we are going to start now we have finished the kinematics part. We have finished motion in 1D and motion in 2D, the projectile motion and many things we have done and explored a lot in relative motion and many things. Now we are going to start forces and motion, Newton's laws of motion. Now we are going to start Newton's laws of motion. Till now we have not been bothering about the cause of motion. Only we were playing with the parameters of motion. What are the parameters of motion? The parameters of motion are the quantities which tell us about the distance and the direction in which the motion is happening. They are generally the velocity, the acceleration and the time. Time is a general universal parameter. It is always there with a universal clock. Generally the parameters of motion are velocity, acceleration. These are the general parameters of motion. So before this we were playing with the parameters of motion. We were given some velocity. We used to find, okay, at that instant what will be the velocity? Okay, when velocity becomes this, what it covers? Till now we were only discussing about parameters of motion: displacement, time, velocity, acceleration. We were not at all discussing, in fact we were not at all thinking how the motion started. If the acceleration is changing, why it is changing. Now we are going to discuss about that, not the kinematics but the dynamics part, cause of motion. Now let us begin with very simple things. Newton's laws is a great thing. We will come into the next lecture. Let us first do simple thing. The best part of physics is you observe everywhere everything. Okay, you want to go on a vacation with your family. You sit inside the car. You don't start the car. Let us have a situation and then we will analyze something. You sit inside the car. Now I am sitting inside the car, but I have not started the car. Will the car start moving on its own?
No, sir.
Definitely. If it starts moving, I will jump out thinking some ghost is there. Okay, it will not start moving. Now suppose this pen is on my hand. Everything has rest. Will this pen automatically go up?
No, sir.
Definitely no. I can pick it and go up. Now anything in your room, anything here, this large digital frame, anything in the room, if nobody is touching it, then everything in the room is where it is. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So to make motion, we need interaction. We need some interaction. Motion cannot happen without interaction. Motion cannot happen without interaction. You will interact with the object or something will interact with the object. Pen is in the hand. I will take my hand and lift it up. Then it goes up. Without interaction, nothing can happen. Interaction is the primary cause of motion. Now understand. Now let's come again back in the car. Now I start the car and I put a gear and press the accelerator pedal. The car starts moving forward. Why the car starts moving forward? The car starts moving forward because now the engine is generating some power. The engine is interacting and giving the power to the body of the car. And you are placed in the body of the car. So you along with the body of the car start moving. Now interaction provides force. If there is an interaction which does not provide force, then we will not call it an interaction. Every interaction will provide force. We can define interaction or force, we can use it like synonyms. Now, provide force. Whenever any body is interacted upon, whenever any body is acted upon by some force, then there is some motion. There must be some force. There must be some force for the motion to occur. The forces can be of two kinds, generally of two kinds. One is contact force, other is non-contact force. Contact force. Generally, the forces we see in day-to-day life are contact force. Pushing a body. Contact forces are those forces which cannot be applied or which cannot be transferred, which cannot be applied to another body without contact. Suppose I want to push something with this hand. Now if I want to push something with this hand, then that thing should come in contact with this hand. If it comes in contact with this hand, I will push it. The contact force means the action of this force cannot happen if the contact is not there. Now there is some non-contact force, like gravitational force. This is a non-contact force. Earth doesn't come to you. Earth is there where it is. But even if you leave it, the pen falls down. The gravitational force, the magnetic force. Have you played with magnets in your childhood? You might have played, showing some magic. We had a copy, and on the top of copy we put a coin, and below that copy we put a magnet, and when we move the magnet, the coin moves. Is there any contact between magnet and coin? No. But there is a magnetic force. That is a non-contact force. So forces can be a broad classification. Forces can be classified into two categories: contact force and non-contact force. Contact forces are many, like we pull a string from the well, with bucket definitely, not only the string part. Then the bucket is in contact, or it is tied to the string, so it is continuously in contact. The push force, the pull force, all these are contact forces. Generally, contact forces come into play. The only non-contact force that we are going to discover in this mechanics part is the gravitation force. Gravitational force. We will discuss more about gravitational force in another chapter, gravitation. But presently, okay, this is the only non-contact force in mechanics. Once we go to electrodynamics, we'll discussing about electric force, magnetic force, mainly these two. Let's come to contact force. Contact force can be applied with a string, can be applied with a spring, can be applied with the normal force, or push or pull with other object. These are known as contact forces and non-contact force. To have a motion, to start a motion or to change a motion, we need interaction. Without interaction, neither the motion can be started, neither the motion can be stopped, neither the motion can be changed. Interaction means applying some force. Okay, now this is one thing. Yeah. Now let's come to a little bit Newton's laws of motion, and slowly whatever we have just discussed, let us slowly put this. Now Newton was a very intelligent person. He was a very analytical person. He was able to do very good analysis. So he analyzed, and the things that he told about motion are very common sense things that we observe daily, but we do not analyze them. Newton, we have 3 laws of motion, and I am going to discuss these 3 laws of motion in detail, and I want you all to listen to it. First is Newton's first law of motion. Newton's first law of motion can be interpreted in many ways. Let me first put it in the simplest way. Let me first put in the simplest way. In the simplest way, or in layman terms, Newton's first law of motion simply says that an object will not get disturbed if you do not disturb it. It is a simple law. Newton's first law of motion simply says that an object at rest will remain at rest, or an object in uniform motion will remain in uniform motion until acted upon by some external force. An object at rest will remain at rest. An object in uniform motion will remain in uniform motion until acted upon by some external force. What does it mean to say? If you do not disturb someone, he will not get disturbed. It is as simple as that. If you do not disturb this pen, it will not get disturbed. It will remain where it is. If you do not disturb this camera, it will remain where it is. Until some external disturbance comes, then only it will get disturbed. This property of object, this property of bodies to retain their restfulness or retain their uniform motionfulness is called inertia. The property to retain their state of rest or uniform motion is called inertia. Please copy down, then I will move forward. I need space. Please copy. Now see, Newton's first law of motion we were discussing. Let us discuss a little more in detail about Newton's first law of motion. Newton's first law of motion simply says that an object at rest will remain at rest, an object in uniform motion will remain in uniform motion until acted upon by some external force. This is the Newton's first law. Until you disturb something, it will not get disturbed. The property to retain the state of rest or uniform motion is called inertia. This particular property that an object when put at rest remains at rest, an object put in uniform motion remains in uniform motion. It resists the change in its state. The property of resisting the change in its state is called inertia, and measure of inertia is mass of body. Definitely, the measure of inertia is mass of body. Suppose you want to move this pen, a very small force can move it. So we can say it has less inertia, or in other words, it has less mass. But if you want to probably move this 80 kg TV, then you have to apply more force. Or if you want to move a mountain, then probably you will not be able to move it because its inertia, its mass will be very, very high than probably the force that you can apply. So, measure of inertia is the mass of the body. This is the Newton's first law of motion, which says that every object having mass has an inertia, and until acted by external force, it will not change its state of rest or of motion. Now, let me explain the external force word. There are two words in this: rest and uniform motion. Now, rest and uniform motion. The word rest simply means velocity zero, and uniform motion simply means the velocity constant. Both can be combined under single heading, that velocity is constant. So let us put it in little more easy words. The velocity will not change. If it is 0, it will remain 0. If it is some 2 meters per second, it will remain 2 meters per second. The velocity will not change until external force is applied. The velocity will not change until, see how Newton thought, we are thinking. The velocity will not change until external force is applied. Okay. So, what changes velocity? If we talk about in terms of parameters of motion, what changes velocity? Acceleration is something that brings change in velocity, because acceleration itself is the rate of change of velocity. So definitely force will be providing acceleration to the given object. Whenever you apply force, it means it is providing acceleration. it is providing rate of change of velocity to that particular object. Suppose the small pen is there, you apply small force, a small change in velocity, you apply large force, the pen will fly away, large change in velocity. So the velocity will not change until external force is applied. That is, acceleration is zero until external force is applied. This is very important. The acceleration, there is no acceleration in the body, there is no acceleration in the system until external force is applied. The acceleration remains zero until the external force is applied. Now I want you to listen a little more. So this is what ultimately the Newton's first law of motion says, that if no external force is applied, no acceleration. The velocity will not change. If the velocity was zero, it will remain zero. If the velocity was constant, it will remain constant until you apply some external force. The acceleration will not change. That means the Newton's first law of motion can also be said like that. If the sum of net external forces is zero, if the sum of net external forces is zero, then acceleration is zero. This is the mathematical form of Newton's first law of motion. If the sum of all the external forces is zero, then the acceleration is zero. Now, from where this sum came into picture? Why the sum of external forces came into picture? Only if we were talking about force. From where this sum came? Sum will come. Now see, this is something like this. Now, if a person pushes it this like in this way, in that direction. Now another person comes and it pushes in this here. Now both are pushing like this. I am pushing in this direction and that person pushing is that direction. But the force applied both of them is same. Now I am also applying force. So force is getting applied. You cannot deny that the force is not getting applied. Now that particular person is also applying force. Let us draw something like this. This is the pen and the person from here applies a certain force. And at the same moment, another person applies the same magnitude of force. Now common sense prevails that if I am pushing from here with the same force and a person is also pushing from here the same force, even if the force is getting applied, then also the pen will not move because it will be in equilibrium, because the force from this side will be equal to force from this side. You can say that if this is taken as I cap, then this force vector is, let's say, Fi cap, and this force vector becomes minus Fi cap. Let us call it F1, let us call it F2. So we can say that F1 plus F2 is zero. That the sum net of all external forces is zero. Sum net of all external forces is zero. Please remember this. Sum net of all external forces is zero. Then there will not be any acceleration. This is the true statement of Newton's first law of motion. And from here, a lot of interpretations can be made. Slowly we will make them. Inertial frame and many things. So the Newton's laws of motion says that the velocity will not change until external force is applied. It means velocity not change means the acceleration will be zero until external force is applied. It again means that if all the sum of external force is zero, then acceleration will be zero. This is Newton's first law of motion. Until the external forces sum is zero, there will not be any acceleration. If there will not be any acceleration, there will not be any change in velocity. Not change in velocity means no change in state. If uniform motion, continues uniform motion. If at rest, continues at rest. Please copy. A little more to be explained on Newton's first law. If the sum of all net external forces is zero, then the acceleration will be zero. Sum of all net external forces will be zero, then the acceleration will be zero. Now a little elaborate thing. Earth, this is our Earth on which we live. A simple planet in the universe of no importance. But for us, it is very important we live on this. Okay. Now see, Newton's first law not only tells you about inertia, not only tells you about mass, but also defines what is known as inertial frame. How? I would like to explain it to you. Defines inertial frame. Now, definitely there are two kinds of frame. Inertial frame, non-inertial frame. We were thinking that Newton's first law just got over, and now this thing pops out. Okay, no problem. It defines inertial frame. See, please listen to my each word very carefully. So the mathematical definition of Newton's first law is this. In fact, this is the Newton's first law. That if sum of net external forces is 0, F external is 0, then there will not be any acceleration. If no acceleration, the velocity remain constant. Velocity constant means the state of body is not changing, the state of body is constant. Now let us see. We have two kinds of reference frame. One is the inertial frame, then the other is definitely non-inertial frame. Please understand, I will try to make you understand. Have you ever traveled in this Delhi buses? Once I went to Delhi, and the buses, the government buses, they are awesome buses. So what happened? I was sitting in the bus at the last seat. The best part of the last seat is there. If you sit in the last seat in the middle, so you don't get anything to catch, because here the rows are there, and in the middle the pathway is there. So whenever the driver pushes the brake, everything will stop, but you will stand up from the seat due to the motion, due to the inertia. And again, when he pushes the accelerator, you will again sit down. So every moment he pushes the brake, automatically there is nothing to hold, you will get up. Now, consider a physics point of view. Consider a person is standing next to me. He is seeing me. He sees that Mr. Arvind is sitting on this chair. Now he is inside this bus. Please understand. He is inside this bus. And he is looking at me. He is looking that Mr. Arvind is sitting on this chair. Then suddenly the driver there applies the brake. Now he is in the same bus with me. Consider driver gone. Now he is seeing me. Suddenly he sees, when the driver applies the brake, he sees that Mr. Arvind Singh just lifted like this. So now he is thinking from Newton's law, which external force acted on this? Why Mr. Arvind came up? There is no external force, neither any contact force nor any non-contact force. The contact forces are same. Mr. Arvind was sitting like this. Whatever was in contact with him is still in contact with him. And the only non-contact force is gravity. Now if this person start making analysis about me, he will think that even if no external force acted on Mr. Arvind, then also Mr. Arvind comes like this. Why in his frame, he is in the frame of the bus. Now he is seeing. Now he has studied Newton's law of motion. He is a clever person. He observes me that neither any contact has changed, neither earth gravity has changed, but then also Mr. Arvind suddenly jumps. He is not able to find any force, extra force, getting exerted on Mr. Arvind. Then also Mr. Arvind jumps, and what he thinks, that is still, when Mr. Arvind was sitting in equilibrium, he was sitting like this. So net external force was 0, but suddenly he came up. Net external force was 0, but then also the velocity of Mr. Arvind changed. He came up. Net external force was 0, but then also the state changed. It means that the observer was standing in a non-inertial frame. Now, just keep this particular example in mind here. Now understand. we have two kinds of frame. One is the inertial frame, one is the non-inertial frame. Earth, we will take it as, it is not exactly, but it will work. Earth is inertial frame. And any frame in rest with respect to earth or in uniform velocity motion with respect to earth will be a inertial frame. Now, please remember this. Earth is an inertial frame, and any frame at rest with earth or moving with uniform velocity will be an inertial frame. Very, very important. And what is the definition of inertial frame? Yes, any frame in which this holds true is known as inertial frame. This is the definition of inertial frame. Any frame, please understand, any frame in which this is true is called an inertial frame. This is Newton's first law. Not only tells about inertia mass, but cleverly defines inertial frame. Any frame in which the sum of net external force being zero makes acceleration zero is an inertial frame. And a frame in which this does not happen is a non-inertial frame. As soon as the driver applies the brake, the bus turns into a non-inertial frame, because a frame will be inertial only if it is at rest with respect to earth or moving in constant velocity with respect to earth. Now the bus was moving in constant velocity, but suddenly brake applied. So bus is decreasing its velocity. Now the bus is decreasing its velocity means not moving with constant velocity, moving with changing velocity. As soon as the changing velocity is there, Newton's first law statement gets destroyed. If somebody asks you that if net external force is zero, then acceleration will be zero, will only hold in inertial frame. This in fact gives the definition of inertial frame. A frame will be called inertial in which this definition holds true. Can there be a frame in which this definition does not hold true? Yes, that will be a non-inertial frame. And to simple layman words, we can say that we regard this earth as an inertial frame. Why we regard this earth as an inertial frame? Because in our house, whenever we put anything, we decorate our house, putting different things at different places. But when you go outside for a walk and return back, you find everything at its same place. It doesn't happen that you have put something here and when you come back it is there. So earth is an inertial frame. Is this thing clear? Say yes. So in earth, whenever we put any object and no external force is applied, then the object remain at the same place. That proves that earth is an inertial frame. Now that is the first thing. Now any frame in rest with respect to earth or moving with constant velocity with respect to earth will be called an inertial frame. And any frame whose velocity is changing, velocity changing means having some acceleration, and any frame which is accelerated, deaccelerating or accelerating, velocity decreasing or velocity increasing, will be called a non-inertial frame. Once I was asked in my interview, if the sum of net external force is zero, then the acceleration will be zero. True or false? I straight away said false. I am intelligent. Because this will only hold in inertial frame. So this completes 90% of Newton's first law. In fact, still 10% remain, but that will not come into now. We'll move to Newton's second law. That will come later on. Okay. So let me summarize the things that we studied in Newton's first law. In Newton's first law of motion, the first thing, the basic thing, if somebody asks you, what is Newton's first law of motion? Then Newton's first law of motion simply says that if you do not disturb someone, he will not get disturbed. And this particular property of that object of not getting disturbed on its own, the pen not jumping on its own, is known as inertia. And the measure of inertia is the mass of the body. The larger the mass, the larger the inertia. That means the larger the disturbance, the larger the force needed to disturb it. The mountain, the walls have larger inertia because they have larger mass. Okay, so that is the first basic thing, and we can then again say it in second way. The first thing I have said, the second way, that the velocity will not get changed if no external force is there. We can put it in this way, that if the sum of net external force is 0, then the acceleration will be 0. And from here we define inertial frame. See, inertial frame is the only frame where you can apply your Newton laws. This F equal to ma, and our action, reaction, everything. If you don't have an inertial frame, Newton's law is not valid. Newton's law is invalid. Newton's first law defines the frame where you can apply Newton's second and third law. If some frame obeys Newton's first law, then only Newton's second and third law can be applied. So Newton's first law also puts a rigid and perfect definition of inertial frame. Earth will be considered an inertial frame, and any frame moving with uniform velocity with respect to Earth. Now that uniform velocity may be 0 or uniform. So let's put it in a simple word. Any frame moving with a uniform velocity with respect to Earth is known as inertial frame. And what is the definition? Somebody asked you, what is the definition of inertial frame? This is the definition of inertial frame. In any frame, if the sum of the next external forces is 0, then the acceleration of the object, the body, it remains 0. That frame will be called inertial frame. If there is a frame in which no external force is acting and still the body is having acceleration, like the Delhi bus incident that I told you, the person inside the bus, as soon as the brakes are applied, the velocity is decreasing, this frame becomes accelerating frame with respect to Earth. So automatically it becomes non-inertial frame. So in non-inertial frame, no Newton's laws will be valid. Neither first law, neither second law, neither third law, no law. Because even if no force is acting on Mr. Arvind, then also he is accelerating. So these are the basic correct things about Newton's first law which you must remember. This definition of inertial frame, definition non-inertial frame. One last thing, only in inertial frame you can apply Newton laws, all three, 1, 2, 3 laws. What's the second and third law? The first law, it gives us the frame, gives us the definition of the frame where you can apply Newton's second and third law. The observer must be in an inertial frame to apply Newton's second law and third law. And whether the observer is in inertial frame or not, what is inertial frame? This definition is given using Newton's first law. Please copy down. Now we have discussed Newton's first law of motion. I think that you probably wouldn't have thought that Newton's first law of motion contains so many things. Now from Newton's first law of motion, I want you to just remember 3 things that will help you to solve problems and make analysis. Only 3 things. The first thing that you must remember, that Newton's first law of motion, mathematical, let's take 4 things. Let's take 4 things. Newton's first law of motion philosophically or in English language says that if no net external force is there, then the velocity will not change. Mathematically, Newton's first law of motion says that if sum of all external forces is 0, then acceleration will be 0. These 2 things. Then the third thing, any frame in which this holds true is called inertial frame, and inertial frame is the frame in which Newton's second law and Newton's third law can be applied. If we don't have an inertial frame, like accelerating car, you cannot apply Newton's first law, Newton's second and third law of motion. Newton's first law of motion defines inertial frame. And why to consider so much? Let me tell you a simple thing for inertial frame. The simple thing is that Earth is an inertial frame. Whenever we go outside for a walk, the things in our home does not get disturbed. So Earth is an inertial frame. And any frame at rest or in constant velocity motion with respect to Earth will be an inertial frame. If any frame is inertial frame, then we can apply Newton's second law of motion and third law of motion. Now this is all about Newton's first law. Now I am going to talk about Newton's second law of motion. I also told you that forces are of two kinds, contact force and non-contact force. Okay, now we are going to come to Newton's second law of motion. I must write only for inertial frame. If somebody says you, can Newton's second law of motion be invalid? Say yes, in any non-inertial frame. Okay, so Newton's second law of motion. Now, the first law says that if sum of all the external forces is zero, then acceleration is zero. And definitely we can say that the more, by simple common sense, the more we apply force, the more acceleration. So definitely force should be proportional to acceleration. And also, the larger the body, the larger the mass, the more the force required to move it. So force required to move, or force need to bring the acceleration, should also be directly proportional to mass. These two things can be said from common sense. So Newton simply said that the net sum of all external forces is equal to mass into acceleration. Generally it is written down as F equal to ma, and in vector form it is written down as force is equal to mass into acceleration. See, mass is just a magnitude, it is a scalar quantity. So direction of force and direction of acceleration are always same. The force that we write generally in books, that does not mean force. That does not mean. That means net sum of all external forces. Please remember this. If somebody asks you what is Newton's second law of motion, don't say force is equal to mass into acceleration. That is nonsense. The Newton's second law of motion says that the sum of net external forces will be equal to mass into acceleration produced. Please always add this word, sum of net external forces. Saying force is equal to mass into acceleration is ridiculous. It doesn't. The Newton's second law of motion simply says that the sum of all the net external forces. Now force is a vector quantity. Please understand each word that I am saying. Force is a vector quantity. So you can add all the forces. You add all the external forces and you get sum of all external forces. And you get sum of all external forces. Now this sum of all external forces, we call it F. F that we write in F equal to ma is not just a force. It is a sum of all external forces. That will be equal to mass into acceleration. And remember this, the direction of force will always be same as the direction of acceleration. The direction of force will always be same as direction of acceleration. It is not possible that force and acceleration have different direction. Please remember that. Direction of final net force, final net external force will be same as the direction of acceleration. In fact, it should be the reverse way, the direction of acceleration, but okay, it means the same. Remember that the direction of final net force and the direction of acceleration will always be same. Now, this is Newton's second law of motion. Let us elaborate a little Newton's second law of motion. Clearly, if net F external is 0, the mass is not 0, but mass into acceleration will go to 0 if acceleration is 0. Newton's second law of motion can only be applied in an inertial frame. If a frame is not inertial, then you cannot apply Newton's second law of motion. And for us, I am repeating again and again so that you remember it. Inertial frame is very simple. Any frame moving with constant velocity with respect to Earth is an inertial frame. The velocity may be 0, the velocity may be negative, the velocity may be positive, just the velocity should be constant. Then from that frame, if the things are observed, that means if observer is standing in that frame, then we can apply Newton's second law of motion. Newton's second law of motion helps us to calculate acceleration. Please understand, second law helps us to find acceleration of objects. It helps us to find acceleration of objects. Now, we will apply Newton's second law to simple situations. Before applying Newton's second law to, okay, I need to move it up. First you copy this down. Now, let us apply some simple things. One of the things to be understood, there are 2-3 things which are very easy things which you must understand. First is the normal reaction. The normal reaction. Let us see. This is a table. My drawing has been really beautiful from my childhood days. Means in the negative sense, don't worry. This is a table, and on this table a book is there, a mass, an object is there with mass m. Now the object's mass is m, so when I look, the object is not moving. Now I am looking from the earth, the object is not moving, so that simply states that the net external force on this object should be 0. Now one force is due to earth, that is the gravitational force. So how much force is there? Mass into acceleration. What is acceleration due to gravity? It is always g. So one particular force is acting on this body in downward direction mg. See, if a body is of mass m, then mg will always act downwards. We can say it has weight. Weight of body is mg, always acts downwards towards earth. Now definitely there is some force that is acting against mg and balancing it. That force is the normal reaction. Whenever two surfaces come in contact, then both surfaces exert force on each other, and Newton's third law comes into picture. Please see. Whenever two surfaces are in contact with each other, then they exert equal and opposite force on each other. Normal each other. Normal means perpendicular. Normal to the surface in contact. Now if you draw free body diagram, one more term, free body diagram. What does this mean, free body diagram? Free means not in contact with any other body. The word free simply means not in contact with any other body. If I take this mass m and I want to draw its free body diagram, now I have made the body free. How I made the body free? By removing all the contacts. Now what are the forces? One force that will always act is its weight, mg. And since this particular thing touches the table, so there will be a contact force. This contact force is not letting this thing fall down. Why it is falling down? It is falling down due to its weight. Due to Earth's pull, it is falling down. But this table is resisting the fall down. Now definitely, if this table is resisting the fall down, it is applying a force upward. Because if a force is downward, then to resist it, you have to apply a force upward. And by the way, you can also say that the normal reaction, whenever two surfaces are in contact, the force exerted by each surface on the other is perpendicular to the surface in contact. One more thing, I am going to repeat it. Whenever two surfaces are in contact, then the force applied on each other is perpendicular to the surfaces in contact. Now here, this table is exerting a normal force on this. And definitely, the normal force exerted by the table on this block will be equal to the weight. Normal force is generally denoted by N. Please understand the normal reaction. Whenever any object is put on something, then what balancing? That object is balancing. The table is balancing it. How table is balancing? By exerting an external force. Because if you consider this mass, then table is an external thing, not a part of this mass. External force means force by external object. Force by object, not a part of that object. External force, force by external object is known as external force. So this is an external object and it touches. The only non-contact force in mechanics is gravity. Except gravity, if anything touches, it applies a contact force. So here, this thing is touching, so applying a contact force. Please remember this. There is only one non-contact force in mechanics. It is gravity. And except that, if the object is getting touched, force is getting applied perpendicular to the surface in contact. So a normal force like this. When you keep books one on top of each other, they exert normal forces on each other. Remember that. Similarly, if you draw the table, my beautiful table, then this normal force is acting on this box upward, then it is definitely acting on this downwards. The normal force acts on different bodies that I have written here. Exert equal and opposite force on each other. Contact forces will always be equal and opposite. Just a second. Remember this thing. The only non-contact force in mechanics is gravity. If body in contact, then every contact will apply a contact force. Remember that. Every contact will apply a contact force. Contact forces are equal and opposite and act perpendicular to surface in contact. Remember these three things. And free body diagram is a representation of all possible forces on the body when you make it contact free. That is why it is known as free body diagram. Please copy.